We're pleased to be joined by Dylan Lay from Vietnam today. Thank you so much for joining us, Dylan. So one of the most significant new elements of the draft document for the 14th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam is to define a new growth model for your country. Can you further elaborate on this?
Of course, and thank you so much for the question. So I would love to elaborate on this. A key theme running throughout and the most notable innovation in the draft documents of the 14th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam is the clear establishment of a new growth model, like you just mentioned, for the country's next stage of development. Now, accordingly, Vietnam is gradually shifting from a growth model that has relied mainly on traditional factors such as low-cost labor, resource extraction, and extensive investment toward a model driven by science and technology, innovation, digital transformation, and improvements in the economy's total factor productivity. Now, these elements are now placed at the core of the national development strategy rather than playing a merely supportive role as in the past. This would create the conditions to fully leverage national advantages, generate breakthroughs in productivity and economic competitiveness, and move toward sustainable double-digit growth. I really want to emphasize that. In 2025, Vietnam set a growth target of 8% and in fact achieved 8.02%. Another important aspect of the new growth model is its emphasis on combining autonomy and self-reliance with a high level of international integration. Vietnam prioritizes strengthening endogenous capacity, particularly domestic enterprises, core technologies, and supply chains, while proactively deepening its participation in global production, trade, and innovation networks. At the same time, economic growth is approached in a more quality-oriented, sustainable, and inclusive manner, closely linked with green development, the digital economy, the circular economy, and the advancements of social progress. Indicators related to efficiency, resilience, and long-term development are placed on an equal footing with quantitative growth targets. Now, these are important strategic orientations aimed at turning Vietnam into a developed, high-income country by 2045.
Dylan, so a breakthrough in the development of science and technology, innovation, and national digital transformation is a new and important policy direction in the drafted political report of the 14th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam. Can you further elaborate on this?
Of course. First, the most important new element is that for the first time, science and technology, innovation, and digital transformation are identified as the primary drivers of growth, directly linked to the requirement to improve productivity, quality, and the overall competitiveness of the economy. The draft emphasizes a shift from development that relies heavily on capital and labor toward a development based on knowledge, technology, and data. Second, this breakthrough is not limited to high-tech sectors, but is designed to spread across the entire economy and the national governance system. Third, the draft places particular emphasis on developing a national innovation ecosystem in which enterprises play a central role. The state acts as an enabler, and high-quality human resources are the decisive factor. Mastery of selected strategic technologies, core technologies, and digital platforms is regarded as a key condition for strengthening autonomy and self-reliance in the context of increasingly intense global competition. Now, Vietnam is a latecomer, but is seizing the opportunity to join the ranks of advanced digital economies. The 13th Politburo has issued Resolution number 57 on breakthroughs in the development of science and technology, innovation, and a national digital transformation, emphasizing that science, technology, and innovation constitute a key growth driver for rapid and sustainable development. So Resolution 57 sets clear targets for 2030, allocating at least 3% of total annual state budget expenditure on science and technology, innovation, and digital transformation, while aiming for research and development or R&D expenditure to reach 2% of GDP. Now, Vietnam has achieved encouraging results in the development of science, technology, and innovation. And for example, Vietnam's telecommunications infrastructure index is currently ranked 67th, an increase of 41 places over the past 5 years. Now, Vietnam's startup ecosystem has risen to 55th place globally. And through the effective application of science, technology, and digital transformation, Vietnam can raise its GDP growth by 1 to 1.5 percentage points per year.